Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Unpopular Reviews, Entertainment Edition. This night, we're going to review Thor with you, the episode 5. And because episode 5 is such a big milestone, we actually are bringing to you 5 co-hosts. First time ever done on Unpopular Review history. And let's bring on co-host number 1. If I can ask the director to click their names while I introduce it, we're going to start with the newest co-host of Unpopular Reviews. You know her as C the Superior. I know her as Chrissy. Welcome tonight, Chrissy. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Yes, we love to have you here. Are you excited about Thor, the Prince of Asgard, that somebody so articulately told us in pre-production?
I'm very excited. This is one of the first movies that I saw like by myself, like when I was like really excited to go to because of Iron Man and stuff before. So I was like, okay, yeah, let me go see this Thor movie. So yeah, I'm very excited. Plus, he's the sexiest Avenger, so I was doubly excited.
Oh my god! Oh, yes. Wow. With that, let's bring on our second co-host. He's a guest, and hopefully, the next newest member of Unpopular Reviews, none other than I'm not even going to say his name, but you'll get the reference. But I know him as James. Let's bring him on right now, James. What's going on? How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing all right. This is James Negro Son tonight. Next week it might be something else. You never know.
Oh my God! Are you from Asgard too?
No, there's only one of us allowed.
No, okay. There must be a limit. All right, let's bring on our next guest. He's a regular. He is the man known as the Mark, Victor Rodriguez. Vic, what's going on with you this evening?
Hello, everybody. Excited to talk about Thor. I saw this movie. I enjoyed it once again. Definitely not the best one out of all of them, but I definitely had a good time watching this movie. So let's get on it.
We're going to get on it after we introduce our fifth and last member of the night that's going to join us today. I say them for last because he is going around acting like he's Thor's #1 fan, his biggest advocate. But we don't even know if everybody liked it. Well, Chrissy already said her opinion on the movie of Thor. But, ladies and gentlemen, the Willie T. Dreams dropping on by today. Willie, what's going on? Oh, look at that. Look at that. He's speechless, too, and that's just the way we like him. Right there in his story. Get up. Willie, what's going on with you this night?
What's going on? What's going on, people? What's going on? First and foremost, I want to say welcome to the newbies. See the Superior. I want to say cheers to you, darling.
Thank you.
James and Nigger son. I want to say welcome. I hope you join the crew.
There's no Japanese accent to it, but I thank you. I appreciate the welcome.
My man Vic the Mo.
What's
Jr.
good?
What's up, baby? What's up,
chilling,
baby?
My man Dream. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm living life, enjoying it, baby. I
love it. I love it. I love it. And by the way,
say
I love this. I really love this.
Oh, hey, I got the hammer and everything. I ain't had time to.
I'm good, Ann. How are you?
Because I'm only gonna be on for 5 to 10 minutes, so I ain't.
I see you.
I was gonna get up. I greeted everybody nice and fuck you, the executive asshole. I just wanted to say
I felt the hate. It's like I was one of those little ice guys. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm an adopted son for Odin's son or something. Like what's the deal? Why are you treating me so bad?
Guess what? You are the Ric Flair to me being Sting. So just know that. I give you that much credit.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I want to say I appreciate everybody in this quarantine coming. I see the Superior. Your hair is laid, honey. I got it. I see you. My man rocking the official military board over there, and then my man Victor Moan got the motherfucking fitted way down. Chris, fuck you, and your hairline is fucked up, and that's just that. But anyway,
are we on Saturday? Are we doing wrestling? I feel like I'm being trolled right now.
But anyway. I'm on just so you don't disrespect the Prince of Asgard and give a little, premise to why I love the man called the icon called Thor.
All right.
Well, all right. Let's go. Want me to start, Chris, versus I'm on for quick?
Yeah, go ahead, man. You got it. You lead. Just go ahead and take the hammer and just do your thing.
Did y'all do a review on the first Avengers?
No, that's
not yet.
That's
what we've
next
done
Wednesday.
So far.
Okay.
Now, let me tell you
cool.
what we've done so far, Willie. The first thing that we did was Captain America.
I was on that,
right? Where he went down saving New York, and he was not scared of the pussy. Just had to say that.
Yes, he was. Captain America said, I'd rather, instead of going on a date and losing my virginity, I'd rather get on this plane and go down on an icy plunge. That's what Captain America did. If you're going to say everything, say it correctly. If you're going to paraphrase the executive consultant, paraphrase him correctly.
First of all, Captain America was a good guy, and that's all I got to say about that.
He was a good guy. He didn't want to be another notch on the belt buckle of that woman. So
you know what? That's why we're gonna continue this conversation at the end of Endgame. All right. So anyway, Mr. Like Willie said, executive asshole hating on Captain America. After that, we did Captain Marvel. So it was boy Captain and girl Captain, and then after that, we did hold
on, why did we gloss over Captain Marvel? Captain America was so interesting. Why don't we talk about Captain Marvel? Because Lord knows she was
do with Thor right now. Captain Marvel.
Hold up, no, we can talk about Captain America.
Wait a minute.
If his suicidal intentions, but we can't talk about Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel is a homicidal maniac. And I'll tell you why.
First of all,
I tell you why. I tell you no. Hear me out. Hear me out, Willatine Dream.
Are you working Gorilla? Who working Gorilla?
She's a homicidal maniac because up until then, I was actually excited to see her in Avengers Endgame. She killed everything I had as far as my excitement to go see Avengers Endgame. That's how much of a homicidal maniac Captain Marvel is. All right, go ahead. Next movie.
This come from somebody who like Baron Corbin, but anyway. Like I said, I asked that because I was gonna get into Thor and I tied in, but since y'all only do the first Avengers, I'm gonna just go.
So then now, prior to this movie, we did the Incredible Hulk, and that was good. And now
he was really angry in that film. He was really angry. Do you think he saw Captain Marvel before he went on the trip to Mexico? Because that would make me angry too.
What?
Okay, all right, go ahead. My fault.
First of all, all right. Carol the Avenger Danvers.
Go ahead, see.
Captain America, then it was Captain Marvel, then it was Iron Man.
Yes, thank you.
Now we are on Thor.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All
right, well, breaking just outside of the Marvel comic though, we all I don't know if our viewers know, but some of y'all, I'm pretty sure y'all do know that Thor is
the icon Sting. Hey, what is she talking about?
Oh no, that's because I said Chris was the Ric Flair to my Sting. But
movies.
But yeah, but just backlog for we got a casual fan in right now. Thor is from the Viking god lord. He Prince of Asgard, son of Odin. Odin is what will be considered to be like Zeus in Greek mythology. Just a little folk, backlog. He's supposed to be they say he's the strongest Avenger technically, but we all know who that is for real. But
he is the strongest Avenger.
Actually, Thor was before the MCU movie boom started. After Blade and the success of Spider-Man, Thor was really considered to be one of the least favorite, characters in the comic books. Like people didn't really have that much interest. So that's why I give Chris Hemsworth so much motherfucking credit for making Thor one of the most popular goddamn characters in the MCU now. But if you ain't a comic book head or if you ain't a comic book fan, you wouldn't know that. But anyway, let's go to Thor, the movie.
And this was his first one of his I think this was his first major film.
No, he did 2 other movies before this one.
Yeah, I think he was kind of semi-famous back in Australia, but this was his first mainstream hit. And
he did Cabin in the Woods, but they released it after, and he also did the prologue. Remember to Star Trek 2009.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was the father. Kirk.
He was George Kirk. Yeah.
Yeah, making terrible movies from the get-go. Okay.
He was a star in Cabin in the Woods.
See, Chris.
Star Trek 2009 was not a good movie. So if you
that was a great movie. What are you talking? Well, anyway, we're talking about Thor. But
I'm gonna give Chris credit on this.
You like Justice
It was
League,
an entertaining movie, but it wasn't a good Star Trek movie.
Chris
I agree.
like Justice League. He like DC.
I did like Justice League,
so he needs to just hush.
Okay,
I like Justice League before they chopped it up.
So anyway, Thor came out in 2011. I remember seeing that in the movie theater, and I was really excited to go see it. And apparently, this movie was directed by Kenneth. I don't even know how to say his last name. Branagh. Anybody remember?
Branagh.
Yeah, and he was in Harry Potter. He was Professor Lockhart, and apparently, he also directed 2015 Cinderella and 2017's what's that movie with Johnny Depp? Murder on the Orient Express. That was a good movie. And Thor, now that I went back to watch it, I was a very big fan of the movie in 2011. Now that I went back and watched it, I've noticed more of the flaws and like things that kind of irked me about the movie.
Was it the opening credits or the end credits?
It was just I guess
the middle. I got you.
We're always like tilted, kind of sort of like weird, and I feel like it was that was a little overdone. I feel like the villain probably could have been a little better hashed out. And also something I noticed immediately as I was rewatching it is, you know how when they first showed the frost giants, and I was like, these frost giants look like the goddamn White Walkers from Game of Thrones. And I went back and I was like, this is interesting. So I went back and looked out. So apparently Thor came out on April 17th, 2011, which is the exact same day of the premiere of Game of Thrones. Same day, same year, everything.
Oh wow! That's why they look like the That's crazy. That is crazy.
Yeah, but overall.
Oh snap! The child is here. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's backstage doing gorilla like we needed with 5 people on, but you know.
Okay, so now we have 6. Wait, I just want to see what it looks like.
You can't put. Oh my God! You can put 6 people.
Yeah. Fucking what? Hey, David gonna do this. Oh my fucking God! What are you doing?
Yeah. I forgot. I did not know you could. I thought 5 was the limit. Okay, you can put 6 people on. We won't be experimenting with that though. Okay, so what was the first scene of Thor? I'm refresh my memory. Act like I haven't seen the movie, which I try to forget, but I can't do a self-inflicted amnesia. But walk me through the first scene of Thor. What makes it so good from the first scene?
Before that, let me just say this.
He gets hit by the car.
I'm gonna say this. Whenever we review a movie, I'm always gonna forget about the small aesthetics that the director uses, the flares and everything like that. That's their personal choice. I can like it or dislike it. It doesn't do anything for me as far as the movie. So I'm not going to discount it or hold anything against that. Right. It's always about the story to me. Right. It's always about the actors. If they stay true to who the character's supposed to be. Right. I can't even say if it's true to who the comic book character is, as long as it's true to the script that you gave me in that film. Right. Because one is in a comic book form. The other one is in a film. You can say the same thing about Watchmen if we're going to give it. They changed the whole ending of Watchmen, right?
They changed the ending of Endgame
for the graphic novel. Okay, so I can't even hold it against that. The reason why I like this movie so much is because it created a world that we knew nothing about. We, the lay audience, right? We knew nothing about it. We knew nothing about the people. And you can argue whether or not you cared about it, but the story was engaging. It had a point to it. It had a beginning focus. We saw it. We saw 2 brothers. It was a sibling, not even a sibling rivalry, but one was living in his father's shadow, trying to live up to the myths and legends that he always heard about his father, right?
And one was adopted, trying to be.
Well, he didn't even know he was adopted. He just wanted his father's acknowledgement.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And it was compounded on the fact when he finds out when they're in Jotunheim, and he finds out, wait, I'm not even Asgardian. Is that why you never loved me? So it's really a coming of age story set on Asgard, and all of that other stuff is extra. Do you see what I'm saying? The movie was shot like a traditional play. You have the opening, the rising action. You see what I'm saying? The slowing down, right? And then the climax at the end. That's it. And the resolution and everything like that. I think it's one of the best MCU movies that they ever made.
Really?
I really do.
I definitely wouldn't say the best, but it definitely was.
No, I'm not saying the best. I said
no.
He
said one of.
One of
them.
One of the best.
As far as storyline goes.
As far as storyline, character, when you put this up to, again, I wouldn't put it compared to an ensemble movie because that's not fair, because an ensemble can have many different components, right?
Based off
if you want to say Guardians of the Galaxy, right? Even though they have an ensemble cast, that first film, it's about a family, right? As long as they stay true to that, right? No matter how many people they introduce, it's all about the family and them growing from what we saw them at in the beginning as individuals, together as a family, as individuals separately, right? Then it's a good movie. Guardians of the Galaxy does that. Thor 1 does that. You can even put part of Thor 2 in it because it's a continuation of that story of two brothers trying to find themselves.
I would definitely agree with you on that, and I would say if you compare them to the first Captain America, the first Iron Man, the first Hulk, with the exception of Black Panther, Thor ranks among the top 3 best first movies.
Do you see what I'm saying? And look at Black Panther. Black Panther wasn't full of action either. It was a story, but it was a movie about something.
The way they built it, from him losing worthiness to hold the hammer once it hit Earth, to him regaining the worthiness to pick it up.
Well, even on that, he wasn't worthy of the hammer.
No,
the movie was him becoming worthy to be actually, because remember, he's living as a spoiled child. He's been the prince of Asgard. He hasn't had to work for anything. And to Christopher's question about the opening scene in Jotunheim, Odin says to him, he says, how are you you're doing this? You say you're doing this to protect the kingdom, right? To protect the people. You can't even protect these friends that you care about. One of them, I forget which one, when he's stabbed through with the ice sickle, right? And they're like, we're gonna die. We need to get out of here. Help us. He says, get the hell out of here. He's not thinking about them at all. He only he shot his ground.
I think he does have probably the most recognizable character development throughout the movie. But does the character development excuse the bad wigs, the iffy CGI, the like everything else?
Well, but the CGI progressed.
All Marvel movies have bad CGI.
I mean, it is 2011.
But no. As I was looking at it, the CGI in the 2011 Thor is worse than Iron Man, which came out several years before. If you look at how Asgard looks, if you looked at
all they had to do was CGI the suit for Iron Man.
But that's what I was about to say.
That's
the
true.
CGI for Iron Man was him in the suit, him flying, compared to them creating a CGI whole world.
Yeah, they created multiple worlds. Do you see what I'm saying? And anyway, like I said, to me, I don't really care how the CGI looks. You see what I'm saying?
Like Ninja Turtles from 1990 is different.
Exactly.
I actually like the Ninja Turtles that came out now, but you know what? The wrong movie.
We could do a review of that too.
No, we're gonna have to, because I'm Donatello. So
I'm Ralph.
As far as the in Thor, I feel like that the character development was good with Thor. And it might have been good with Loki, but that's where it stops. Jane, she literally was the same character from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie.
Even in Ragnarok, I mean, not Ragnarok. What's the second one? What's the second one?
Dark World.
Mm-hmm.
But we're talking about the first one now. Just in the first one.
No, because you said character development throughout the whole.
In the first film.
Okay.
Darcy, I completely forgot she was a character. I didn't even remember her until I saw this movie again. And what's his name? Eric. I forget his last name in the movie, but I know his.
But the doctor character through the whole MCU progressed too, because he even became a fixture in what was that? That wasn't
Sylvan. Dr. Sylvan.
Yeah. He was the same character throughout the movie. So the The character development began and ended with Thor and Loki. Everyone else, one note.
But you have to remember the movie is called Thor.
And it was introducing
the movie is called
casual
Thor.
fans.
Everybody else that we see in the movie, even the inclusion Thor's mother, Odin, I forget the Warriors 3 that they call them, and
his crew.
Those are ancillary characters that help with the main story.
But you know what?
Even Idris Elba character, the Watchmen.
But the movie is not about Heimdall. The movie is not about Heimdall. You see what I'm saying? So we don't know
her mother. Her real life name is Renee Russo. I was wondering, is she related to the Russos that directed Infinity War?
I don't think so. I don't think she is. Renee Russo, she's an acclaimed actress. She be in everything from Assassin. She was in Lethal Weapon. Which one? 3.
Oh yeah, she's been in a couple Lethal Weapons.
Yeah,
wow, Lethal Weapon.
So no relation to the directors of Infinity War. Same last name. That's what I was wondering about when I saw it. I was like,
no, she not. But okay.
It's the same reason why, for instance, if we're going to talk about ancillary characters, right? We really haven't seen any growth with Black Widow. We haven't seen.
Is she getting a show?
A little bit of in-game. They tried to sneak it in there before they killed her off.
Yeah. That's only to go into the prequel that was supposed to come out.
But I think they're gonna do like some kind of prequel show or movie for her.
No, she got a movie coming out.
Oh, she do? Okay, that makes sense.
But you see my point. There's no character development in ancillary character. That's not necessary. If they have it, that's great. But the movie is not about them. There's no character development in Falcon.
It's all about showing off story.
I mean, Falcon,
Thor. It's Thor.
Falcon about to get the show.
Falcon, but Falcon's only there for like 2 seconds. There's no character development on Falcon because he's about to when Thor's about to go get the hammer. Mjolnir. I can't always say it right.
Hawkeye.
Yeah, Hawkeye. What am I saying? Falcon. What's wrong with me? Hawkeye. Yeah, like I completely forgot that Hawkeye was in this movie.
Me too.
You know what I mean? Like when I saw it again, I was like, "Oh snap! Look who's in there." Okay, and honestly, I wonder if that's the first time we see Hawkeye.
Yeah,
that's crazy that y'all said that. I don't remember him. I don't remember him in Thor. That's crazy y'all said that because I didn't remember Hawkeye.
You know why? Because his role was terrible, just like every other role he's been in. Whether it's Avengers, whether it's Avengers 2, whether it's Captain America, Hawkeye does absolute crap. Okay,
I think Hawkeye should get a show.
Willie, the last time you went to the bathroom and took a shit, you might as well call it every turd Hawkeye because that's all it was. Look, let me explain something to you. All right, Hawkeye is not interesting in the movie. That's why most people don't remember he was in that movie. I love so much how you all. Excuse me. I love so much how you all have sat here and gave so much credit to this movie of Thor. That's the name of the movie, right? It was Thor, right? So I, however. Don't have such rosy colored glasses when it comes to Thor. Yeah, it was good. The little rainbow Super Mario Kart rainbow bridge or something like that was really nice looking. I give you credit for that. But outside of that, the movie was boring. The only thing that's a saving grace for this movie was the perfectly cast Sir Anthony Hopkins as Odin. That was perfectly cast. Okay, right. Loki was boring. It wasn't until Avengers he actually became a real threat. Okay, now granted, the very first scene.
Wait a minute. So let me ask you guys something.
No. Let me finish this thought. Let me finish my thought before you say this. The very first scene where Thor throws a hammer, right? Because he's working on the railroad. So he throws a hammer and it's hitting all these frost giants and stuff like that. Hey, does that scene remind you of any movie? What? Oh, Avengers Infinity War. It was the same shit. They're getting their ass whooped, right? And then Thor comes, he saves the day by throwing a hammer that's hitting this person, running him, this person, running him, this person, running him, this person, and then he grabs it looking like a superhero because all the women, shout out to Chrissy, all the women are like, oh my God, look at his dreamboat, look at his dreamboat. Nah, I don't want to hear that. Look, the movie was not good. It was very boring. Vic, what were you going to ask me? Oh, Vic went out. Willie, what do you got to say? Because I see you got your finger up. Go ahead. What you got to say?
And that this finger is not saying that you're number one at all.
That's how I feel about the movie Thor. But go ahead.
the fact that you are a DC fan, you really disqualified.
You keep saying that. That means absolutely nothing to anything. Just because I'm a DC fan does not mean that I don't appreciate Marvel. I like Marvel. I like Incredible Hulk. I like the Iron Man. Fantastic Four is actually my favorite comic book. I like the X-Men. I used to like Loki before Tom Hiddleston played him in Thor. So what are you saying? You're not saying anything. Give me the meat and potatoes of Thor.
First of all, for you to disrespect Loki like that, Loki is a hell of a fucking. He's the god of mischief. Do you understand?
Very well articulated was your argument just now. Thank you so much for telling me he's the god of mischief. I didn't know that.
The reason why this is Loki's best movie, because he had such good character development that James was talking about. I feel like after this movie, he kind of went into like kind of a one-note character. Like he doesn't have kind of like multi emotional kind of build to him as he does in this Thor. But because he was so liked in this movie, that's the reason why he was able to continue on in Infinity Wars and other movies, because originally he wasn't even casted set to be in other movies, I don't think, until he became like a fan favorite. So he did really well in this movie. The actor did really well in this movie. But I feel like this was his peak as far as character, because after that it was very one note, very mischievous Loki. He comes back from the dead, he dies, he comes back again.
This was his peak.
I want to push back on something that Chris said. One, I don't think that this movie has a villain. That's why it's so different than the other Marvel films. Loki is not a villain. Even in Norse mythology, Loki is not a villain. Mischief doesn't mean that he's nefarious. Okay, the frost giants are the closest thing that come to a villain in Norse mythology, or the mountain trolls, or whatever like that. And that's the same way this film is. Thor: The Dark World with the Dark Elves, and Thor: Ragnarok, which I don't even want to get into because that movie made no sense, right? Those are more.
They combined two movies. That's what fucked Thor: Ragnarok up.
Well, they're doing too much. Yeah, they're doing too much.
I thought Thor: Ragnarok was messed up because they made Thor: Ragnarok. But go ahead, James. I'm sorry. What were you saying?
But in this one, remember, it is about two brothers coming of age, right? Trying to find themselves. Okay. Loki is not a villain. Every time that Loki does something mischievous and he sees the consequence of it, he's like, damn, I messed up, or I caused something, or I didn't mean for it to go this way. I'm in it too. And he tries to clever his way out of it, right? Even when Thor comes back from having spent time on Earth, right? And he has learned something. He's not fully who he's supposed to be. He's not the king yet, right? He hasn't earned that title yet. He's still growing, but he's grown from where he was before. So you see the requirement for lifting Mjolnir is not that high. Do you see what I'm saying? He's learned a little bit, enough so that he can come back and do the right thing, right? So when he comes back to Earth and they're standing on the Bifrost, right, or Rainbow Road as Chris calls it, right? Loki says, if you destroy it, the Bifrost, you'll never see Jane, right? And basically Loki is saying to him, this is who you want. This is who you love, right? You're going to give up everything you love to save the enemy, the people that you hate. He doesn't understand it because Loki has not grown. He still wants his father's love. We see that 30 seconds later or a minute later in the movie when Odin gets there and he wakens from the Odin sleep, right? And Thor says yes, and he breaks up the Bifrost, right? And he sacrifices everything, right? He's falling down, and Loki is falling down too, right? And then Odin is there. Loki, what does Loki say when he's about to die, or he assumes he's about to die? He says, I wanted you to know I could do it too. That sounds like a little boy. All throughout the movie, they keep saying, you're a boy, you're a boy, you're a boy. You haven't learned anything. You're not king yet.
Like a
you're not worthy of it. That's the thing. You need to grow up. He's been doing the same thing. The Warriors 3, one of them says it. Again, they said it's not like when you go to Earth and you can just conjure up some thunder and lightning and they worship you like a god. This is something completely different. If you go to Jotunheim, this is war. This could mean death of thousands. They get it. They've grown up. Thor is still the kid. You see what I'm saying? He's still the prince of Asgard. He thinks he can do everything, and he hasn't earned anything. He hasn't learned anything from the lessons that his father's been trying to teach him. Remember when we see how his father had the 2 eyes and then how his father lost the eye in battle. You see what I'm saying? But all 4 years is his father vanquished the enemy. And is the ruler of the 9 realms. Do you see what I'm saying?
But see, well, I hate like I said, the only thing I address that you said that I don't agree with as far as when you said you see that the requirement to lift Milner is was low. And I'm jumping ahead.
I didn't say it was low. I said it wasn't that high.
You said it wasn't that high.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm jumping ahead, and we ain't even talked about this movie or that, but I'm jumping to Endgame when Captain America grabbed it. Now I don't know if y'all know, but a lot of people don't discuss what made Captain America able to lift Milner from Endgame to what was that? That was the first Avengers when they was trying to do it, or was that?
It was the second one. A real MCU guru would know
anyway,
that.
Shut the fuck up, Chris. Let me finish.
Just saying, an MCU person would know that.
Anyway, we all know it's based on pure heartness and honor and woo. We know that's the movie. Well, Civil War is the movie when Captain America revealed to Iron Man that he knew that Winter Soldier was the one that killed his parents.
Yeah, because he's pure of heart.
He became.
Yeah, wait till we get to Captain America: Civil War, ladies and gentlemen.
We're reading too much into the title of pure of heart and everything.
No, I ain't saying pure of heart. That made him worthy.
You did say pure of heart, Trump. Look,
that made whatever the last.
Before he even became worthy, he was cast out of Asgard, and then Odin put that spell on to Boromir that if you be worthy, anyone who holds his hammer will have the power of Thor. Then it gets, going all the way to Earth, and it gets stuck in this desert. I think we're in New Mexico.
Yeah.
And then we have the scene where it was as soon as I saw it, I said, this reminds me so much of
what's up, Elvis?
Excalibur, Arthur and the Excalibur. Remember that story with King Arthur?
Sword in the
Stone. That's what it's called. And then when James just mentioned how Loki was just so much looking for the love of his father, it's very much like King Arthur's brother Morgan, and how he was always looking for the approval of King Uther, which was King Arthur's brother. I said, this is very similar to the King Arthur story. And I wonder if they pulled from that when they were making
it's written like a classic play, like a Shakespearean play. And Kenneth Branagh is very known for being in Shakespearean plays. That's how I think he played Hamlet. I think in the 80s and 90s.
What Stan Lee or the Marvel comic creators decided to draw from how they tied the Loki and Odin thing to based off Viking lore. It's different.
I've never read the Thor comic.
Okay, there should be no more interruptions. I'm very sorry.
No problem.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. We're just listening to them keep talking about how Thor is a decent movie, and it's not.
But wait. But I just want to ask one question. I want to ask one question about Loki. Did he ever use his ice powers ever again? I forgot he had these ice powers.
I can't remember.
It was always the magic.
In the comics, he uses it, and it's to combat him and Thor going against the ice giants. In the comic, he does use ice powers, his elf powers. I'm sorry, elf powers.
Yeah, because I noticed how he froze the gatekeeper.
Yeah,
I've never seen that again.
But he had like a staff or something. Did he ever have that staff again after that?
Well,
those staves are not what gives the power. It's the power being channeled through those weapons.
Well, yeah, but see, the Tesseract
couldn't access that power without the staff.
And that's what the movie didn't show, that Thor does not need Mjolnir to fly.
The Mjolnir was just a device that Odin used.
Yeah, it was like Odin said, it's a weapon to build or to destroy. But it doesn't. Remember, they said if you lift Mjolnir, you get the power of Thor. That means that the power is not in Mjolnir; it's in Thor.
Thor.
You see what I'm saying? The staff is not what gave Bor or Odin their power. It's the Odin force that was in them. Yeah, it's like a magic wand. You know what I mean? It's just what they channel through. That's why even if we're gonna go to Endgame, when they did the I forget the Stormbreaker. What is it, Stormbreaker?
It was Stormbreaker.
Stormbreaker, right? They said
an MCU head would know that.
Bifrost. Do you see what I'm saying? So that weapon was, huh?
No,
he was. No, I was just like, you know, if you're a real MCU person, if you're a real MCU person, you would know that. Willie should have hopped in and did his job. You know what I'm saying? It's the MCU correspondent. You should have done your job. You're stuck in your job, bro.
James,
that's all I'm saying.
An asshole, so you don't even have to pay.
Do your homework. Know your craft. Know your craft, bro. Know your craft.
But Stormbreaker, it used
he kind of does
energy, and that's how it was able to channel the Bifrost, which is what we see in Thor: The Dark World. How he, even though the Bifrost was broken, or destroyed rather, they had dark energy and they use it. The same thing that Heimdall used when they were on the ship, escaping when Thanos killed him. He used the last bit of the dark energy, he says, and he creates the Bifrost to bring Banner back to Earth. So they have the power within them as Asgardians. Remember, they live on the realm eternal, just like Captain Marvel when she was hit blast with the Tesseract. That cosmic energy comes from the Infinity Stone. Do you see what I'm saying? And it's channeling through her body. Thanos is so strong because he's a deviant from the Celestials. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's not the gauntlet that's given them strength. It's natural innate in them. You see what I'm saying? That's what this movie is. I don't think people like this movie, and the same thing why Captain America, the first Avenger, wasn't as popular as Winter Soldier is because it really is a character piece about an individual
and an introduction.
Their journey. And their journey is the action. Do you see what I'm saying? And it doesn't matter that they were at war. If he was staying in Brooklyn or whatever like that, it would have still been his journey. And we care about the character, not because he can throw a shield like a boomerang, right? We care about him because he was this scrawny kid who still had the heart to stand up. Do you see what I'm saying?
Jump on a grenade.
I thought he was a CGI kid.
Whatever.
Hey, Chris. Yeah, your headline is CGI right now because this is a piece of shit. So shut up.
So is the smoke not coming out of your daggone screen. And I haven't even heard the smoke detector. I'm proud of you.
Did you finally get the battery? I changed the battery.
God. Oh my God. New decade. Who's this? All right, cool. All right, go ahead.
Apparently, when they did the casting,
yes, ma'am.
There were a couple different people up for the role of Thor. One of them being Charlie Hunnam, who was in Sons of Anarchy that I mentioned before. I'm not sure who Aaron.
He was Ghost of Mars, right? Or John Carter of Mars too. That's the same actor.
I'm not sure what. I know he was in Sons of Anarchy. I know he was in.
He's Tron Legacy, right? That's Tron Legacy.
The blonde hair one in Sons of Anarchy.
He was in what's that other movie with the kind of like the Transformers fighting, but they weren't Transformers.
Pacific Rim.
Yeah, Pacific Rim. He was in Pacific Rim. And another person up for the role was who else did they have up for the role? Chris Hemsworth's own brother. His brother was up for the role too, but over him. And there was another thing I don't know if you guys apparently with the WWE thing, Triple X was also in talks to be Thor in this. Triple H, yes, Triple H. I'm not a wrestling fan, but Triple H was up in to be Thor.
Triple H as Thor? Could you imagine that? That would be crazy.
It made sense for the build. And for what Thor looked like.
There were a few people. There were a few people up for the role of Thor. You have Triple H.
Shut up! We don't need you to mention that. She already did.
Daniel Craig, Charlie Hunnam, Tom Hiddleston, Alexander Skarsgård, Liam Wilson, and Joel Kinnaman.
She already mentioned it. You asshole.
Alexander Skarsgård, because he was, for one, his father's in the movie, and he's just.
You better put me back on. You son of a bitch! How you gonna put me on? Don't disrespect her.
Possibly, but I'm not sure. But
I think also True Blood was on at that time, right?
Yeah, True Blood was on. I was a big fan of True Blood.
Yeah, I like that. The last season,
that was so stupid.
What's his name? The blonde hair one, Eric.
Yeah.
He can't be Superman because he's a Marvel guy, so you gotta put one of those Marvel clowns on him.
Guess what? If I'm a Marvel kind, I'm either gonna be the fucking Prince of Asgard.
But as far as Loki,
or Wolverine,
they were talking to possibly getting Jim Carrey to play Loki, which I thought probably would have been awesome, but maybe he aged out of it.
He was too. Triple H also would have been too old to play the character, so I completely agree with the choices.
First of all, when Thor first was introduced,
the actual Norse mythology of Thor, he was a middle-aged redhead.
Yeah, he's a middle-aged man.
Yeah, but what they're trying to do, it wouldn't have worked. It would not work.
10 years down the road, they needed somebody.
Exactly, because right now Chris Hemsworth is about to be 37 years old, where Triple H is about to be like 52. So it made more sense to go down the road that they did. But I mean, I'll give you this: Thor was perfectly cast. The movie Thor was perfectly cast. You have Thor. Loki is perfectly. I thought he was boring in this movie, but good in all the other ones. But Thor, Loki was perfectly cast. Odin was definitely perfectly cast. Everybody. Natalie Portman wasn't necessarily perfectly cast, but she's a really beautiful woman, so I'm glad she was in it. Mm-hmm. And so is Kat Dennings, who's a beautiful woman, so I'm glad she was in it. Yeah. But besides that,
she was
I of all the movies we've reviewed so far outside of Captain Marvel, this was my least favorite one. But that I'm not going to say it was a failing movie. I give them A for trying.
Better than any DC movie outside of the Dark Knight series.
There's a reason why you're smoking weed, Willie. There's a hold on. Let it go, James. Let it go, James. There's a reason why you're smoking weed. Definitely, if you think that
one of my favorites out of you, but not out of DC is next level. DC is next level. I stand by that.
What?
Y'all first.
When we have our DC versus Marvel episode, which Willie tries to put on every single entertainment episode he's in, we can combat this. But in the meantime, let's stick to the facts, which is Thor.
Yeah.
But Thor wasn't that good to me. I get what you're saying. You make a very good argument with the character development. I'm all about character development, but it just was not good. It was too boring. Captain America, I give a lot of flack to, but it was also character development, but it also kept me a little bit interested at times. Okay. I can't say what I was ever really interested in first. Loki just seemed like a spoiled brat who needed a spanking and be locked in his room. Thor just seemed like he needed to be grounded, which he was. Mm-hmm. But outside of that, it just wasn't necessary. I appreciate the aesthetics of the movie. Chrissy mentioned how she doesn't like the CGI, which I completely understand why you didn't like that. I like Rainbow Road because it was a really scary time for me when I played it. No, I did. When I played it, when Mario Kart, it was scary to me. So I would appreciate seeing it in the live stream version. I got to give credit to Thor where credit is due. Of the three movies, I think it was the second weakest one. Ragnarok being the weakest one. So we'll see. Dark World, honestly, is my favorite.
Better?
I think Dark World was better than this one. I do. And we'll talk more about that in a week or two, actually. I think it's coming up.
Before anybody respond, please let me respond. Before anybody
Hold up. Vic, I barely heard Vic's voice. Can I hear Vic's voice? And then you can respond all you want.
You just don't want me to bust your ass, you motherfucker.
Well, first of all, you have to be capable. Vic, what you got?
So when the doctor was looking up Thor,
I don't even know why you laughed at that because you didn't hear a word he said except for shape up. Let's just be
What do you mean? He's always getting on you with your shape up.
Willie's a Terminator. Go ahead. Willie's a Terminator. And how did all Terminators get killed at the end of the movie? Remember
you said you wanted to hear Vic's voice. Let him talk.
Go ahead, Mark. Go ahead, Mark.
Vamos a ver si me dejan hablar. Espérate, vamos a ver.
James, what did he say? What did he say, James? What did he say?
He said, hold on one second.
All right.
You ain't got interpreter. You ain't got to be his interpreter.
Okay. So now my question is, when the doctor was looking up Thor in the old children's books, and I was gonna say this, like I feel like we should have done this show tomorrow. Because I never knew that Thursday was Thor's day.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I never knew that. Like, I don't know how true that is, or like if that's part of Greek mythology or whatever.
Through the Norse.
So you let me get this straight. You had a chance to actually speak because Willie's been dominating the show. So you had a chance to speak, and you mentioned Boar's Day. That's what you do. That's what you come up with. Boar's Day.
Oh really?
Oh my gosh, bro.
Really? No, I just found that to be a nice little nugget in the show.
No, it's not a nugget. It's a nugget that needs to be tossed down the toilet.
Nugget in the show.
It needs to be tossed down the toilet.
Why you gotta hate on everything, though?
I'm not hating on. I didn't hate on Iron Man. I did not hate on Iron Man. I didn't hate on the Incredible Hulk.
You sitting here acting like those guys that used to be on Hot 97 all the time, hating on everything.
Vic, I got this. Just as culture as the executive asshole hairline is, you can tell he hasn't been nowhere. Because over in like Amsterdam, Germany, and places like that, some of the people still either believe or live by Viking law where Odin is God and Thor is the son. So he wouldn't understand that. He wouldn't understand.
What the hell does that have to do with the movie? Look, you know what? I'm so glad. I finally figured out. Willie, I finally figured out why you like Asgard so much. Because when I watched the movie, when I watched the YouTube clips, when I watched the YouTube, I let you finish. I let you. All right, go ahead. Finish.
He said something about thirsty. That's something that's celebrated in Amsterdam. If you ever been there, you'll understand that.
I don't want to go to Amsterdam, but I'm glad you mentioned Amsterdam because Amsterdam and Asgard, they're similar, aren't they?
What did
they're
you
similar.
Say, Vic? You said
no. They're similar. Hold on, Willie. They're similar. Asgard and Amsterdam are similar, and now I understand why Thor is your favorite hero. Because Lord knows, when you're smoking that good shit that you're smoking right now, right? When you're smoking that good shit, only one person sees the rainbow, and that's you. Because you see, no, you're good. You're good. No, go ahead. He's in Asgard right now. He's in Asgard right. Hey, tell Thor I said what's up. You tell him I said what's up, man. Go ahead.
Vic, the question you asked, what I said, do it or do not, does it answer your question that you just asked?
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Yeah. Look at him. Thank you.
He's
getting high as shit. Even more and more you look at him. Every word that comes out of his mouth is higher and higher.
It definitely does answer. It definitely does answer my question, but
go ahead, man. Clean it up for him. Man. You a good dude. You a good man, bro. You the best man I know, man. You the best man. Hey, go ahead. You know what, Willie? I now respect why, because you know what? The hardest thing about this movie, besides watching it, was pronouncing millionaire. All right, so give you all the credit in the world.
No.
But speaking about that though.
The hardest thing to predict was how your barber gonna fuck up.
Barber, yeah, right. Okay, got you.
But here's the thing,
keep shaving, bro. You keep shaving.
Here's the thing, though. Like that weapon, the introduction to that weapon, in my opinion, was amazing.
It was the same introduction they had in Avengers, Infinity War for Stormbreaker.
No, but
that's Stormbreaker.
It was the same introduction. It was the exact same introduction.
First of all,
no, because Stormbreaker had to go be made. Okay,
and then when he got Stormbreaker,
they had to go make Stormbreaker, and they had to go find the Targaryen.
When he got Stormbreaker, what was the first thing he did?
Wait, what is the little guy's name?
You mean Tyrion?
Tyrion, yeah. They needed Tyrion.
No, the little guy.
To go do the little guy.
No,
they didn't need that. See,
the little guy that was taller than Thor
was not in this movie. He was not in Thor. Okay, so
I know him as
go get some magic lava and some like magic machine or whatever to make this thing. Okay,
time
out,
Vic. Hold on.
Mjolnir was already there, and the fact is, no. You know what? The bottom line is that he had to go.
go ahead and use the power that was inside him to make motherfucking the axe joint. Mjolnir was made by the little midget nigga who Thanos made his hands.
What?
Midget nigga.
What?
Come out. The words that expressed by the
nigga. Yeah. She got me dying.
Yo, we're gonna have to clip that part and push it on.
You know what, David, because you already said your piece on that. Go ahead and exit this out when we upload this. Finish up. Well, this is live.
We're
live, pal.
The words expressed by the Willerton Dream is no way or affiliated or accepted by.
Instead of calling him the little guy or the midget or something, can we call him Dr. Bolivar Trask? Because that's how I know him. Okay.
Wait, he's the Doctor in X-Men?
Well, yeah, exactly. I know him from Days of Future Past. We actually played a character I was interested in. No, look, Willie, you're everything. You're everything, all right? You're Terminator, you're Superman, now you're Nick Fury. So you're every ethnicity, right? And you're from all.
Stop being a hater. I'm Martin Luther King's I Had a Dream speech.
He's trying to say you don't have an eye. You're too stupid to realize that a cat that's an alien is probably going to scratch you.
Now, wait a minute. Did we ever see the doctor again?
Yeah, Dr. Bolivar Trask? No, we never saw him again.
No. The doctor, the guy that's
Dr. Sterling is in Avengers.
He is in Avengers. Okay.
He's in the first Avengers, and he's also in Thor 2.
Oh, he is. Okay, perfect. All right. Because I didn't remember seeing him anywhere else. Like you see him at the end credits because he's the only one that talks to Fury. But I don't remember seeing him anywhere else after the fact.
Yeah, they put him in the sanitarium after the events of Avengers.
Yeah, when Loki first came.
Because the Mind Stone had messed him up.
But now about the movie, and I don't feel like Natalie Portman. I feel like she's a great actress, but I don't necessarily feel like she added anything to this film.
I agree.
What are you talking about? She was the best part of the movie.
She did though, because here's the thing: like, there's a lot of girls. You can tell that there's a lot of girls that like can relate, especially because a lot of girls were attracted to this Thor, right? So when he kissed her hand and the way that she smiled and the way she was all nervous and shit, like a lot of girls can relate to that. So like a lot of girls, actually, one of the girls in our team loves Thor. Like, you know, just
I'm about to cut somebody up for this comment right now. But go ahead, Vic.
But yeah, like
before
that,
I end his life.
And that part,
I'm Captain Marvel. Go ahead.
Like that part, you could just see, like, you know, the love story between those two and how far it was gonna go, and that's where that was gonna be his girl, and she became his girl in the long run.
Marvel. They have the worst love story in Marvel. It was very sporadic, and it was just gappy. They didn't see each other for years and years and years, and it was like, where is she during the third movie? Where she's nowhere to be found.
I completely agree.
How you gonna replace?
I agree.
How you gonna replace a dude like that?
She needed to have me as her leading man, so I completely agree.
Well, hold on.
How you gonna replace a dude like that? Like, come on now.
Excuse me, I'm Chris. I'm the only Chris that matters.
That's like Hillary Clinton dropping Bill.
Chris, you were in a movie with Natalie Portman, though, weren't you?
If we gonna
I'm afraid to ask what you're talking, Mr. Son. I'm afraid to ask what you're talking about. What movie was I in with Natalie Portman?
When you played the Emperor to be the going to the dark side.
Star Wars. We talking Star Wars right now. That was before Hayden Christian knew how to act. Oh. So we don't want to talk about it. We don't want to talk about it.
With another cutie, he should have got some more recognition than what
Hayden Christian was a cutie?
Hayden Christensen was gorgeous back then. He was on this show called Higher Ground, like way back when. I used to love that show.
I didn't think Natalie Portman, I didn't know her age back then because they made her look like she was 12 and then 16 all in a matter of 1 year. Mm-hmm. So I really wasn't attracted to her, but I started becoming more attracted to her after Thor. And then Kat Dennings the same way, but now she is like the hottest woman walking right now. I
wouldn't say all that, but
I'm gonna keep this all the way a buck, and I hate to say this, and I'm just so like
keep it a buck, Willie. That's what you do.
These are my views and my views only alone. So please don't know. Yep, I like wrestling or unpopular reviews responsible for what I'm about.
Well, we're not on wrestling. We're all strictly on unpopular reviews right now.
Well, entertain, whatever. Anyway, it's a brand. We're a brand, goddammit. So shut up. I just love my sister, so there's no way that she would ever be attracted to me.
Did we have a black person in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as a woman?
Say that again.
Valkyrie.
Valkyrie is a lesbian.
See, that's how disrespectful he is.
She is.
Valkyrie?
I know, but the way he said it was
You got Shuri. Like, come on, man.
I forgot the women in Black Panther. But I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna say something that's gonna be really unpopular, believe it or not. All the women in Black Panther were not attractive. So I can't.
Nah, they weren't.
All of them were not attractive. Not one of them, except for Angela Bassett, and she didn't look good in that movie. So not one of the women were attractive.
About the tech girl, the girl with all the tech.
What you mean Groot? No, I was not attracted to her. No, I was not attracted to her at all. No, none of them were attractive.
She was mad cute. I mean, listen, man, if she could give me a metal arm, if she could give me an arm of vibranium, I'll marry that girl.
Lupita.
And she give me an arm of vibranium, I'll give her a nice handshake. But that's all she'll get from me.
Lupita's one of my favorite characters. Listen, Lupita is one of my favorite characters in all of the MCU.
She's never been attractive.
I would marry that girl just to learn. I would marry that girl just to learn from her.
Like, I'm not even joking right now. She was not attractive.
Hey, the executive. I ain't even gonna call you Chris right now because I believe you in character. So I'm gonna call you an executive asshole. Hey, you remind me of my uncle. His first name is Uncle, last name Tom. But I ain't gonna say nothing.
You know what? I remind myself of Chris because I don't have to be attracted to women of Black Panther. First of all, when we get to Black Panther, I'm gonna eat that up too. To be honest with you, because Black Panther is really overrated. So I'm not even. I mean, we'll talk about that when we get to episode 20. Episode 20. I'm sorry, episode 20.
Don't be hating on Black Panther, but Black Panther, it's not that it was overrated. It's just that there was a lot of Black pride with Black Panther. You know what I mean? Everybody
completely got you. Hold on. As a movie, Black Panther, overrated.
No, but don't you remember the memes? You don't remember the memes where people were going back and forth talking about like, oh, Harry Potter versus Black Panther. It's the same shit, and everybody's just bugging out. At the end of the day, like people were just happy.
Black Panther had one of the best stories. And
hold on, James. James.
Here we go. Go ahead, Willie. And then I'll reintroduce everybody to Unpopular Reviews Thor edition. Go ahead, Willie.
I hate to interrupt. Hey, Black Panther.
Word up. You know what? But to end that, Wakanda forever.
Hey, as Black Panther, we really got like how we was talking about character development and all that. Yeah, we got a little bit of them in Civil War and all that. Yeah. But far as you understanding the turmoil of him becoming the king, what his father meant to not just him, but the whole fucking country, the Wakanda, how they dealt with outsiders, like all that shit in that movie was like, that's one of the best Marvel movies.
Thank you.
Oh my God. So this is what I have to say to you, Willie, about this. This is what I have to say to you. This is my counter for that.
I ain't finished.
Well, you have 10 seconds.
I'm not finished. Because we watched his internal turmoil to him sticking to the old script with his father and his grandfather and all that did to at the end of the movie when they got an embassy now in motherfucking Compton and he's starting to share his tech and all that. Like you seen even
Trump must have loved that.
Wakanda was just first now coming to the UN and even has this trust gap. Oh, man, fuck this. Y'all about to hit me with the wrap it up, B. I ain't
My rebuttal for you in that movie is watch Unpopular Reviews Marvel Edition, episode 20, when we talk about Black Panther. Because this man was about to go down the whole line when it comes to Black Panther. And I'm sure he's going to want to be on that, and you're going to want to join us for that. And hopefully,
I'm definitely going to be on that, and I'm going to be Wakanda forever. I'm going to be Dr.
We'll have 5 hosts. We'll have 5 hosts. We'll have 4 black ones, and we'll have Mr. Token come on that show and tell us something or Black Panther. Maybe we'll bring the technician for that. I don't know. No, because I'm going to end up having to fire him at the end of the episode because he's going to say something stupid. There he is. I didn't even know he was still backstage. I didn't even know ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Token, David
Sanderson. Ajá. Por eso es lo que te llega para no hablar español, David. ¿Tú ves que te llega?
Vámonos. All right, cool.
I'm not going to do this.
All right, Dave, thank you. Let's get back to Thor.
Speaking Spanish, child.
Let's get back to Thor because we have about 10 minutes left. So let's get back to Thor. Chrissy, what else you got for us when it comes to this movie?
About Thor was one of, I think it was the first Marvel movie that explored more of the like mythical, magical elements as opposed to like technology and science. Which is what kind of like made it famous through Iron Man and all of that. I don't think that was revisited until Doctor Strange or maybe even Black Panther.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Had like a very mystical element to it.
Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy was more.
Thank you, Axel.
Are you sure? I think feel that. Well, oh yeah, he was like part God or something, right?
Maybe that was in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. He was realized he was part God.
Yeah, but then the first one, it wasn't very mystical. It was more like it was my space movie.
We got introduced to the Power Stone.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Possibly.
But one thing that
had something to do with why it might not be as, I don't know, as talked about as opposed to Iron Man and other movies, because it seems like when they add that element that it isn't as successful or memorable. Because apparently Doctor Strange isn't anybody's favorite Marvel movie. I don't. I think I feel comfortable saying that.
Not at all. Well, I don't know. Willie might like it because he likes bad movies. Willie, do you like Doctor Strange?
If I like bad movies, I like your shape up. So first of all, I know that's not the case, so that won't be happening. So,
I don't have a shape up. We're in quarantine over here. All right, so go ahead, Chrissy. I'm sorry, Willie interrupted you.
In Thor, there was a slight there was a scene where Jane Foster, Natalie Portman's character, gave Thor a shirt that had her ex-boyfriend's name on it, and apparently that was the name Donald.
Yeah, that was the name of his alter ego.
Yeah, Donald Blake, and that was Thor's alter ego, which I thought was interesting. So in the cinematic universe, it's a whole nother person, but in the comic books, that was his alter ego. He was a doctor.
Correct. Yeah, that was actually started by Iron Man. He and Robert Downey Jr. decided they were going to go away with alter egos pretty much in the cinematic universe, which I think was a good call for them. I think works well for their little quacky movies that they have going. So cool. Thank you, Chrissy. You did your homework
as much as I did before. Now that I rewatched it, I don't think it was.
Man. Chrissy did her homework. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. This is why she's the newest and latest, greatest member of the Unpopular Review Team C, the Superior. James, what final thoughts do you have when it comes to Thor 1?
Again, I'm gonna say that this movie is underrated by a lot of people, but it may be by preference of what type of movies they like to see. So I can't really hold that against them. But I mean, as far as story goes, the movie stands up. It's one of the best that the MCU has come out with. I think the relationship and the between Tom Hiddleston and Chris Hemsworth was great. I bought them as brothers. It was believable. It wasn't so much a rivalry as each one wanted to shine in their own light. You know what I mean, and stand on their own. Again, I say it's a coming of age story or coming to self story. And I just think the best scene for me in the movie is at the end when the Bifrost is being supercharged and it's going to destroy Jotunheim. You know what I mean? Loki's going to destroy his heritage. And Thor starts to, and by the way, before that fight, Thor places Mjolnir on Loki's chest. You know what I mean? And it's this small hammer. And it was such a great cinematic thing to see that he couldn't lift it up. You know what I mean? Because again, he wasn't worthy to do it. You know, and his whole point in the movie is, I'm good enough, I'm worthy enough. And he didn't realize what made him worthy, what he could stand on. You see what I'm saying? And so he couldn't lift the hammer in that sense. You see what I mean? And he's begging him to stop. He says, look, we're going to destroy him. This is what you want. I'll get what I want. We both win. Don't you get it? And what he's saying, his argument has a lot of logic and reason to it. And Thor, in one moment, it clicks to him and he realizes it may be what I want or what I wanted, but it's not the right thing. And I'm willing to give up everything that I just found because I don't know, to your point, you know, I don't know that he loves, you know, Jane Foster, but everything that he had just experienced on Earth, that new thing that was precious to him to whatever degree, I'm willing to give that up because that's what a king does. A king sacrifices himself, a la his father sacrificing his eye, bore his life at some point. You see what I'm saying? So he says, I'm willing to give it all up to save the people that I hated, the people that I may still hate. Again, that's why I said that the metric for lifting Mjolnir we see in this movie and we see in other movies, it's not perfection. It's not that the person is like without blemish. We know Captain America is without blemish. It's that I'm willing to do the right thing. I'm willing to give up everything. You see what I'm saying? And Captain America, to you, that example, when he calls Mjolnir, he was going to give up his life. He didn't stand a chance. Do you see what I'm saying? And that's when it came to him. And that scene when he takes Mjolnir off his chest and he breaks up the Bifrost and he gives up everything, and then Loki falls into the dark I forget the cosmic powers or whatever like that. It's a great sequence. and Odin is there to save his boys. It's a great sequence, and I think there are very few. Again, you're gonna laugh, Chris, but that sequence in Captain America: The First Avenger, when he's running through Midtown and he's talking to Nick Fury, and he's like, "What's the matter? You all right? Are you about to pass out or something?" And he's like, "I had a date." That's a great cinematic shot.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? In Iron Man, the sequence that I really enjoy is when he's there in pure Tony Stark fashion, when he's gonna come up with something clever to say, and it's like, "No, it's my bodyguard," and it's the callback to the comics and everything like that. And he's like, "Yeah, forget it. Yeah, it's me." You know what I mean? They're great shots, and I think in some Marvel pictures they get it, and you have those iconic moments. Maybe you have more than others or whatever like that, but Thor is definitely underrated in my opinion, and it's a great film. I don't care if the CGI was wonky, whatever like that. I believe that Asgard was a real place. I bought it. I bought into the mythology of technology, what we call magic, and everything like that of our understanding. I enjoyed it. It was good.
I'm so glad that you mentioned you enjoyed Asgard, and you're not the only one, because you see Willie visits that place quite frequently. In the meantime, I also want to mention the fact that you said it was a great cinematic shot with Captain America at the end. And, you know, I think we all have practiced that faking time where you were supposed to actually go somewhere, but you didn't really feel like it. So you fake commit suicide. So you have to, you have to get that surprise face. You know, he knew he wasn't going to make the date. So you said, "Oh, damn."
No, I'm saying it was a cinematic moment. Like, in Casablanca, when they're standing on the runway, and he's saying, "Look, you're not gonna understand it. You're not gonna." That's a cinematic scene. You know what I mean? It's classic. There are certain moments in films that are just. It's a great shot. That was a great beat that they put in that movie. That's all I mean. It's a great beat when they're on the Bifrost, and it's the culmination of the film in that one film. Hey, I get it. It clicked to Thor. I get it. I'm gonna take this hammer and I'm gonna destroy it, and I'm gonna give up everything that I had, everything that has just given me purpose, because I lost my purpose, my identity, because his identity was wound up in water, and when he couldn't lift it, that's what broke him. You see what I'm saying? And he had to find himself. That was the whole point of the movie. That's why it slowed down, because he's finding himself, right?
Yep.
If you look at Star Wars, when Luke is doing all of that and he's learning from his teacher, and then his teacher sacrifices himself, and he has to do it then through the Force or through the Spirit, if you want to say it that way, and he's going to use the technology again, and Obi-Wan is like, "Luke, remember what I told you. Trust yourself, use the Force." And then they go in there and he remembers, "Hey, I've been doing this my whole life, shooting the Wampa rats." And the two torpedoes go in the thing, boom. It's cinematic. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm just saying that shot is cinematic.
Characters were forgettable. I'm just going to say 90% of the characters were forgettable. You could literally do the whole movie without the other characters, and it will still be the same movie. I don't really like. I didn't really feel attached to anyone beyond Thor and Loki, and possibly Odin. I didn't really like I said, I didn't really feel like Jane Foster was all of that. Like, she's a beautiful girl, but as far as the characters,
I was emotionally attached to it.
I don't think, like I said before, I don't think the character development overshadows the bad CGI, the bad wigs, the bad makeup, the changing of the eye color. At the beginning of the movie, Thor had blue eyes, and the end of the movie had black eyes. I was like, what's going on with this? It was just a lot going on that I didn't remember the first time I saw it. Because before I was a big fan. Now that I rewatched it, I'm not as big of a fan of Thor as I was. But Vic, what did you think about it?
Well, one thing about the Thor movies, I feel like the first two movies are one movie, because Loki. Because the thing about this movie is that it's character development. It's more than the story of Thor and Loki. Above all else, the two main characters are Thor and Loki. The last person that you see in this movie is Loki. So you basically already know that there's going to be a continuation. So then the second movie continues that. So I look at those two movies as one, if you like put them together. But more than anything, I think this was at least one of the last movies prior to Avengers, and I think they had to quickly put it together. No, there's Iron Man 2. Yeah, that's true.
This is the second to last one.
Hold on,
second to last movie before Avengers, and like in the last couple of movies, they already said, "Oh, you're gonna see this character in Avengers next." So they're pretty much setting people up for that. So by the time they got to Thor, I feel like a lot of it was just put together pretty quickly so that they could just tell this story. But they did it pretty well, in my opinion. I think that they did it pretty well. I enjoyed it. And like you said before, not everybody really was necessary. The women in this movie didn't do that much. I think that
we walked on the screen.
Yeah, like no, because the thing is that when it comes to Jane, I feel like they go further into her in the other movies. But at the same time, like even later on, Jane is not Jane is not a big of a character as Pepper Potts.
That's about to change.
Like nowhere near the level of Pepper Potts. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. Like she just feels like
an end game. Like with the rest of the women, they come and each other fight Thor, and by that time she could have been the Thor. She has a Thor alter ego, and she did.
Yeah, exactly. Like Tony Stark had a mask for Pepper. He had a whole, and she came and had a whole thing. Like you know what I mean?
With the Thunderheart around.
But see, y'all talking prematurely because like that's really about to happen.
You never know. You never know. It could happen because like he, you know, at the end of Endgame he ran off and he didn't necessarily go looking for her.
She's about to become the female Thor.
I mean, who knows? Because look, like Captain America.
I've been on all the dirt sheets in the MCU, and Thor's Love and Thunder is about to be a story incorporated with her and Valkyrie, and she's about to become the female Thor, and she's gonna get the act.
It's a love story.
But you know what? Since you say that, let me ask you something. I wanna, and not to just jump back to Captain Marvel, right? But
you remember? Let me get my pillow ready.
Wait, you remember at the end of Captain Marvel with the little girl is just like I might make a spaceship one day. You don't know. That little girl, does she end up doing something later on?
She becomes a character. She's a superhero.
Yeah. Nice. Because I felt like that was a setup when I saw that, and I was just like, all right, something's coming out with this little girl somewhere. You know what I mean?
It's a testament that you remember that movie. The sleepy drugs knocked me out before I heard her say that. So I give you credit for remembering that line, Vic. I do.
But I mean, most of all, like there were a few parts that were hilarious, especially with the way that Thor was talking. With his old like country way of talk, like Hercules type of shit. That was funny. Especially when he was in the hospital. How dare you attack the son of Odin? How dare you? He's fighting everybody, and then they hit him with the sedative, and then he's just like. So, like the comedic parts of this movie, I certainly enjoyed. They were, and Hilary Duff was pretty funny in the beginning.
Hilary Duff.
Is she?
Kat Dennings.
That's not Hilary Duff. Her name was Kat something. You talking about
the girl, the little teenage girl? Isn't that Hilary Duff?
No,
that's the shorty from Two Broke Girls. That's the shorty from Two Broke Girls.
Kat Dennings. I've mentioned her only 14 times in this movie tonight.
Yeah, very forgettable character. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, but she was funny. Like she was funny in the beginning.
She's attractive. Willie, what are your final thoughts when it comes to the movie Thor?
You think she's more attractive than Lupita? That girl? This is stuff I don't understand.
What?
Okay.
Wait, you think?
I'm sorry. Her character, which her name escapes me. So Kat Dennings, who ironically she played the role of Kat Dennings because Kat Dennings plays the same role in every movie and show. But anyway, the bottom line is her role is more interesting than Pepper Potts. But that's my opinion. Willie,
more interesting when it comes to
Pepper
Potts.
Thor
what
of
are you
2011.
talking about? Pepper Potts almost killed Iron Man in the first movie. What are you talking about? How is that more interesting?
Most men who are strong are going to get killed by a woman. Willie, what is your final thoughts when it comes to the movie Thor?
Most men that are dumb get killed by women.
Yo, you stupid.
My final thoughts on the movie. Like I said, give me 1 second. Not to piggyback off of what James was saying, but
you're going to.
No, I'm gonna piggyback off your fucked up shape up. Don't interrupt.
Yeah, that was the best you had. You're slipping, bro. Go ahead, keep going.
But anyway, like I said, slipping like your shape up, going like that.
Right. Okay. Come on.
But far as the Thor movie, like I said, I hate to piggyback off what James was saying. That was one of the best introductions to a character Marvel movie. Outside of Iron Man, far as what I can say, far as the introduction movie, and I gotta put Black Panther up there because from the time that you see T'Challa in that jungle after he ain't even come back to Wakanda after his father died and he donned the suit. You got that. You got the T'Challa who was still battling with old ways of his father, like you had with Thor. He was battling with I want all the glory. I want to be the best, the best in battle. I want to earn my father's respect. I want to win all my battles. So that's what makes me feel like I'm really worthy of being an Asgardian king. For me winning all the battles, I'm gonna go into all the dangerous settings, whether it's down the hill of Valhalla, whether it's all over. Like Thor really was not Hercules in a sense, but he was truly the son of a god and wanted to live up to it, not just by entitlement, but by winning on the battlefield. And far as I know I'm going a little bit ahead, but we're going into Avengers, but like Avengers, like Loki a hell of a villain. And if y'all don't respect it because he was taught, not even taught the moral compass from Odin and Thor mother and them, but like it was like, man, so my brother is the stronger, the better looking, and I'm the younger one. And
Loki's not a villain. He's more of like a plot device. I don't see him as a villain even in the first movie. It's like that was probably his most villainous role, and he still didn't come across as a villain to me. Like
he's not evil. He's not evil per se.
He's not evil.
Yeah, because he was just killing people in Avengers 1, but he's not evil. All right.
Avengers 1, they made him like a mustache twirling villain, but in Thor, he's not a villain at all.
Oh yeah, you're right. First one, he was a little crybaby that needs to be sent to his room. I agree with you.
I mean,
you stupid. He really does though. I ain't gonna lie, he is a fucking crybaby. But then at the same time, he doesn't know. He doesn't know anything about himself. Like he doesn't know that he's an ice maker until
he has every reason to be that.
Well, he's not just an ice maker. He's a dark elf. So that's why he's able to use the mystic and magic powers.
Well, Frigga taught him that because she's a witch.
Yeah,
she's a witch. So, but I think the whiniest person in all the MCU is Captain America when it comes to Bucky.
The what?
I think the whiniest person in the MCU is Captain America when it comes to Bucky.
That's his boyfriend. I could say he's in the closet.
Well, actually, Thor, in Endgame, Thor was pretty fucking whiny.
What?
Who did more to Thanos to destroy Thanos than Thor?
Well, he had post-traumatic stress. That's what it was.
Who did more damage to Thanos than anybody but Thor? Thor had the right to say whatever he wanted to say.
You talking about in Avengers 3, right? Not overall.
But see, that's
to Thanos in Infinity War.
Yeah, it was definitely Thor by far. Nowhere
by far.
No one could. Well, Doctor Strange did okay.
By the way, the Hulk.
That's the waterfall.
That's what I said.
Got to ask you about Thanos, and Thor had to come in and give him the damn near like ending blow at the end of Infinity War. So that.
But see, that's where the movie's not true to the comic book. Because
we talking about the movies.
I know, but see, that's where the bullshit goes. Because in the comic book, when Hulk got his revenge against Thanos, before Captain Marvel and the cat snatched the gauntlet off Thanos' hand, my man Hulk got in that ass because he was Professor Hulk by then. So he was able to manage the rage and the smartness and the training he was doing with Black Widow and Hawkeye. Man, like, that's where the MCU movies don't do the comics no justice.
Well, in the MCU, Thor is definitely the strongest Avenger. That's all I'm going to say.
You right. Well, technically, no. Captain Marvel is. In the MCU, the movie.
She's not an Avenger. She's not an Avenger. She's not the strongest Avenger because she's not an Avenger.
How is she not an Avenger if the name came from her?
The battlefield when Captain
No. She was never an Avenger. The name came from her. Just because the name comes through doesn't mean that's what you are. You can get a name from anywhere.
No.
But wait, because the thing is, don't you think that Nick Fury sees her as one of the crew?
She was actually
no, because he didn't call her. He didn't call her in the first Avengers.
She was actually the second.
Not because she was running around saving the Earth.
What was she doing?
Saving all these other planets and taking all the, the people the shapeshifter people. She was taking care of them still.
No.
But even in Captain America was the first Avenger, so she's not even an Avenger. She's not the first Avenger. She's not an Avenger. She's not in any of the Avenger movies besides the last Endgame. She's not an Avenger. I don't consider her an Avenger.
She's technically the second Avenger if we're going off the movies, because the first Captain Marvel started off before she get her powers in the 80s.
Whoa,
so
what happened to Willie?
If we're going technically, she's the second Avenger.
When Iron Man says Avengers Assemble, Captain Marvel doesn't show her ass up when they assemble, so she's not an Avenger.
No, but she shows up after. So she shows up after Captain America say Avengers Assemble in Endgame. So does that makes her an Avenger, right?
It's Scarlet Witch. Is she an Avenger?
No, because she does nothing.
Exactly. So at the same note, Captain
Marvel. Why is Scarlet Witch not an Avenger when she was locked down to Avenger compound?
Because she does nothing.
She's not an Avenger. She's not an Avenger. There is the only Avengers we got are Hawkeye by the skin of his teeth. We got Black Widow. We got Hulk. We got Iron Man. We got Thor, and that's really and Captain America. That's it. There's no.
So wait, does Spider-Man count?
So
Captain Marvel, because he's a child.
No, he's
Captain Marvel and Black Panther not Avengers.
Wait, what about Black Panther? Doesn't count either.
Who?
Black Panther.
Black Panther is not an Avenger.
He's not an Avenger. I don't know what they need them for. But as of now, he's not an Avenger, and Captain Marvel is not an Avenger. There's no way. They are.
Okay, so what about Black Falcon and Bucky?
Hold on.
What about Black Falcon?
Hold on.
His name is Falcon. He's just black.
Hold on, Vic. So Avengers,
I don't know why.
On Avengers Endgame, when they're on the Avenger channel, when all of them is on there, you got this is after this first snap. You got Rocket, you got what's the leader of the Wakanda God? I forgot her name. But anyway, you got Captain Marvel, you got all of them on this land, and they are not Avengers?
No,
they're not.
They're the ones that were left.
An Avenger? No, you're
not. Hold on. So when they start walking through the portals and Falcon fly through and all that, they are not Avengers.
They are. How many Avengers do you think that they are not Avengers?
The Hulk snapped back everybody that Thanos snapped back. That's what he said. Only bring those people back that Thanos snapped away.
So they not Avengers after they start walking through the portals and Captain America say Avengers.
Well, if you walk through a portal, does that make you an Avenger?
Because if that's the case, Pepper Potts a freaking Avenger. She came through too.
Time out. Technically, we going back to MCU. So I'm gonna let my geekness. I'm gonna just leave my geekness alone and leave it, and just base it off the movies. So I'm gonna let that go, okay? Because actually, Iron Man daughter and Pepper Potts actually end up fighting with the Avengers. But that's second, third generation. So
not an Avenger. You are not an Avenger because you are helping in the battle. There's no way. If that's the case, anybody who's in an Avenger movie that helps out the heroes is an Avenger.
So Ant-Man and Walt's not Avengers?
No.
Ant-Man should be. Ant-Man definitely should be. Ant-Man got 3 movies.
Y'all don't.
Ant-Man should definitely be considered an Avenger.
Ant-Man is not an Avenger.
Y'all don't watch so nobody reads the nobody reads the
Ant-Man, listen, man. They have to go back in the time with Ant-Man's technology and all that. Ant-Man is a very, very big part of this series.
Listen.
And he puts on the suit.
Y'all pay taxes, right? Do y'all pay taxes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you part of the government?
No.
But you pay taxes to the government, don't you?
Yeah.
Hey, and I live in DC, so I'm actually paying taxes without representation.
It doesn't make you part of the CIA. It doesn't make you part of the government that builds the road. Just because Ant-Man used that, because they use Ant-Man's technology.
No. Are you saying that based off just the movies?
That's what
because the dude was just a major character in the movies.
We're talking about the movies. There's no time that Ant-Man said, "Hey, guys." He says, "Hey, guys, you Avengers, you know me, right?"
No, he definitely did.
Not an Avenger.
He's not an Avenger. Why would he say, "Do you know me?" If I'm one of you, that doesn't make any sense. Even the Mohawk, when said that I was still one of them, even though he was killed.
That's where I said I'm bleeding my comic book knowledge onto the movie.
No, you can't because they don't keep it like that.
You know what, Joseph? I completely agree with you, Joseph. I've been letting them have their battle about this, and you're a smart guy, Joseph. I just want to let you know that. So I agree with Willie. Believe it or not, Willie is definitely correct. They're all Avengers, and the reason why they're all Avengers is because
you like Justice League, so you can't agree with me. You like
trust me. As somebody who's never smoked a day in his life, it's hard for me to agree with you. But I gotta agree with you on this one. He says Avengers assemble, and all of them assembled.
Like I said.
So everybody that came out the portal is an Avenger.
Everybody.
Facts.
Every last one was an Avenger. Pepper Potts, Rocket Raccoon, Batista came out there shaking the rope. Everybody's an Avenger. Giant Man came up out of nowhere. I think what's that robot name? Black Widow's sister, or what? No, not Black. Gamora's sister. She's Nebula. She's an Avenger. They're all Avengers. I think that guy from Iron Man 3, the little kid that helped Tony Stark fix his suit. He's an Avenger now too. Everybody's an Avenger because they all assembled when Captain America said Avengers assembled, and then your theater cheered because everybody who went to the movies in the first couple days, when that happened, everybody in your theater cheered, including you, mofo. So I understand. You know what that means, Willie? That means you, sir, are an Avenger because when Captain America said Avengers assembled, you assembled. Your black ass assembled. So I don't want you to think he's different, all right?
First of all, hold on. Oh no, motherfucker. Oh no, you're not about to get away with that.
Hey, ho, Willie and Vic.
Hey, Elvis.
First of all, if you what? Oh, I'm sorry. My bad.
I wish somebody stopped doing that texting to me.
See, Chris, you fucking asshole. But anyway.
And don't forget it.
Like, I'm using it. Yeah.
Remember when I said a strong man always gets killed by a woman? This is the This is it right here. This is an example right here. Watch him get bitched out by his wife. No, he's leaving the room. Look at him.
First of all, hold on.
He ran away. Oh my gosh.
You know what's funny? We had
it's cool. It's cool. I know your wife got the Infinity Gauntlet. It's cool. You better call Captain America to open them. I'm sorry, you better call Doctor Strange to open them portals, man, on your left.
Let me tell you something. What you ain't gonna do is, the fact is, nigga, I ain't sleeping on no counter in no basement at night. You wouldn't know nothing about that. So
I always sleep in my bed. A wise man told me if I pay for the bed, then I'm sleeping in it.
Oh, I'm the same motherfucker that'll pull out that receipt and be like, I paid for this bed. I ain't sleeping on no goddamn couch.
That's right.
Anyway,
look at Christy over there. She's the woman of the show, so she's saying you ain't learned nothing yet.
Let me tell you something.
Just because you're in a movie, just me out.
Let me tell you something. You executive asshole. You can't even talk. Like, why are you even on the show and you like DC Comics? Like, I don't even get how you do that. Like,
make that make sense.
The only thing good about DC is y'all villains and y'all animated movies. Other than that, y'all live action movies with the exception of Aquaman.
Superman, Man of Steel was good. Man of Steel was
good. It was good. Man of Steel was. Let me tell you something, Will Teen Dream. Man of Steel was so good, it was better than Thor. That's my opinion, and I'll stick with it too.
I agree with that.
Y'all said Man.
I agree with that.
Y'all said Man of Steel was good, and him fighting General Zod. That's what y'all talking about?
Yes.
With the one who comes to save the day in Aquaman, who face looked like a CGI ass white. Like, are y'all serious?
What does that have to do with Man of Steel being better than Thor?
It definitely wasn't.
It definitely was. Even Joseph agrees with me. Look at his comment.
You know what, Man of Steel? Actually,
look at Joseph's comment, though. Look at Joseph's comment. This man has been on point all night. And I want to respect, you know what, Joseph? You've been so good tonight. I'm going to give you fan of the week. You are now the fan of the week because you've been on point. You've been talking about Willie's biasness. You've been talking about not.
Chris, why you giving yourself?
Somebody fucked me with a text. Okay, you've been talking about C the superior and the crap she's doing.
Chris,
Jay's being biased for the shit. I completely agree with you, Joseph. You are now the fan of the week. Okay,
Chris,
good job to you.
Chris, why are you giving yourself fan of the week? That's just.
I don't know what you're talking about, sir. My name is Chris Harris. My name is Chris Harris, sir.
Anyway, but I'm not going to expose you right now because
I am going to get you a T-shirt,
Chris,
Joseph. You're a good guy.
Chris, we have newcomers, we have newbies on it now. I don't want them to see us act like we don't have home training and that we don't have no type of professionalism. But I want
sir, we have all the professionalism in the world. I can tell you because I was going to wrap this show up ages ago, which is when I asked Chrissy for her final thoughts. And Jay said everybody gave it but me. So trust me when I say we have professionalism.
We don't care about your final thought.
Thor was a C. Thor was a solid C. It got rated 7.0 out of 10.0 on IMDb.com. It was on a budget of $150 million worldwide. It made $449 million. $181 million of it came from the United States. So it actually was a success. You humanoids out there went out there. I was biased against two. I'm biased when it comes to a few things. If it says, hey, who's your favorite singer? Is it Elvis or Michael Jackson? I'm going to be biased and say Michael Jackson. If I'm going to say, does Elvis Martinez makes good comments or bad comments? I'm going to be biased and say Elvis Martinez makes bad comments. You don't believe me? Look at that stupid one right there. But in the meantime, please understand what I'm telling you. Thor was an average movie. However,
hold on, just to piggyback off something you said earlier.
You do like to piggyback.
Remember when you said that Odin was the best cast of the movie from Dennis Hopper? That's what you said, right?
Was the best cast of the movie of Thor? Yes.
So Kevin Costner as Clark as what was his father name?
Joseph Kent.
Yeah, as Joseph Kent. That wasn't the same play.
You remember that time I told you about the story of apples and oranges? Remember I was talking to you about apples and oranges because I don't understand.
Anyway, shut up.
Your logic makes no sense right now. You think because they casted Sir Anthony Hopkins as Thor's father, they said, "Oh, let me go out there and get Kevin Costner to play Joseph Kent." You think that does nothing for it, sir?
Guess what?
I'm guessing.
Guess what? Clark Kent's father did not die in a tornado either.
Okay. Your point? Thor didn't go to New Mexico and meet Jane Foster. What are you saying?
That's another hot piece of shit that Superman Man of Steel was.
Willie, hey, your number one fan has no faith in you. He says, Willie, take care of my light work. And in case you didn't understand what he meant his light work means me.
From the time I signed on, you was already taken care of, so it don't matter. Anyway, I'm sorry. See the superior and my man James. I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all gotta see me get out of character, y'all. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You're in character. You're in character. This is you.
Thumbs down on Thor. Thumbs up or thumbs down, Chris?
If I only have a choice to give it a thumbs up or thumbs down, I'm going to give it a thumbs up. Otherwise, now it'll be thumbs in the side. But it was better than it was bad. But it was still boring.
Too bad you can't say the same thing about your shape-ups.
Okay, I'm also going to give it a thumb to the side. First time I saw a thumbs up. Now that I see it, it's about right about here.
But
yeah, the CGI was bad.
Can we compare it to now since we got the executive?
Oh my God,
asshole again. Can we compare it to like all the introduction movies to a comic character from DC to Marvel.
No, we can't. That's taking too long. It's too many. We're not doing that.
No, I'm just saying. Like if you got to rank Thor 1, if y'all saying thumbs to the side or thumbs down, like compare it to the
DC, Dark Knight.
Compared to Watchmen.
No, Dark Knight don't count. Dark Knight don't count.
You said
Dark Knight don't. The Dark Knight series do not count.
How?
Watchmen.
But one, it don't count because do it say DC films in the
You're gonna fail at this, Willie, because the DC or the DCEU original films are
DC films
Man of Steel,
the Dark Knight.
Wonder Woman, and Aquaman. All three were better than Thor. You're gonna lose this one.
Aquaman was not better than Thor. I'm sorry.
Chrissy, I understand that you're a little biased because you're attracted to Chris Hemsworth. That's fine. But
hold on, time out. Just like we can consider, just like we can't consider the Fox X-Men a part of the MCU, we can't consider the Dark Knight part of the DC films that's been coming out since.
We're not talking about Dark Knight. I just gave you the 3 original films of DCEU. But Willie, I want you to understand that you're in Colorado and Willie's in DC. So there are actually apps out there where you can find a man of your own in Colorado. You don't have to hop and swing on Willie's dick. So I want you to grab this app and I want you to go ahead and download it and find yourself a man in Colorado. Oh, speaking of which, Willie, that might be why Elvis is such a big fan of yours, because he's in Colorado, and Colorado's known for being the first state to legalize weed. So, there you go.
You just hate that my points are better than yours, my views are better than yours.
You might be able to point a finger better than me, but your views are definitely not better than me.
Really?
Okay.
So, you think thumbs up or thumbs down?
That's a good. Thank you, See the Superior for.
Cause you saved them, and I'm gonna go ahead and give you that because you're a newbie.
Save me from what? She didn't do one of these. I didn't see a portal open behind me. Okay, I didn't have Falcon in my ear. You're not Thanos. You were not kicking my ass without the Infinity Gauntlet.
It's better than raising Superman from the dead.
You know what? If I were to compare you to a villain of any MCU, I'll compare you to Whiplash. Chrissy.
Hey, first of all, the best thing about DC Comics are y'all villains.
All right, so now we got 2 thumbs to the side, 2 thumbs up. What about you? Thumbs up or thumbs down or thumbs to the side? Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Okay, we're outnumbered.
We good.
Thumbs up wins.
All right.
We good. We're good. So overall, the movie was okay. It was a good movie. It looks like we all liked it. And now we are all ready for the next movie. So now to get the plugs popping, let's get it started. So are you guys excited for the next movie, which will be Iron Man 2?
Yes, very
Who's excited about this?
I actually am.
What?
Oh wow! James, it's not the end of the show yet for that.
Hold up! Wait a minute, Chris. The bottom line is that you tried to close this show about half an hour ago by asking everybody their final thoughts. So, and See the Superior just, shut everything down. So I'm just going into the plugs.
She's going to lead the next episode.
She's going to lead the next episode? Oh, that's going to be
she's going to lead the next episode. Yeah, you got it, See the Superior. You got it. I don't know what I'm salty for. Joseph says Mr. Sun is good. He should be a good backup for. Okay, you know what? I can't disagree with that. I disagree with that. Okay. Yeah. So you ready to do plugs, Vic? You going to do them? Or you want me to do them?
I mean, go ahead. I'll put the things up. Go ahead. You can just start talking.
All right. So tomorrow we have post that back up. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want your kid to grow, if you want your kid to grow up and be a cosplay player, this is the episode for you. And this is the person you need to talk to. Send the Willie Team Dream message in his inbox.
Motherfucker, don't, like Jay-Z say, I got the balls to do it. Fuck you, motherfucker.
That one time Thor went to Wakanda when he came out.
I definitely got a whole Black Panther motherfucker suit with the mask and all.
Look how happy this woman is in the back. Can you post that picture again? Put that picture back up.
That was my boss.
That was your boss? Yeah. She said, "This is why I hired you, because I need to laugh because I hate my job so much." I'm so glad that you came into work. You put a smile on that woman's face. She's so happy. She is very happy.
Smile on the whole building face, even the kids that it was Halloween.
You definitely put a smile. You definitely, every single episode you're on, you put a smile on Elvis's face. He is happy to see you.
Oh no, I put a smile on all our viewers' face because they see me kick your ass.
All right.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching Unpopular Reviews Powered. Well, thank you so much for watching Unpopular Reviews. If you are liking this video, please make sure that you like, love, and share this video to all of your timelines and groups, and you follow us at UPR on Instagram and Twitter. Also, make sure that you're donating to us if you get a chance, trying to get better and better equipment at patreon.com/unpopular reviews. And you can purchase one of those lovely shirts that the Mark Victor Rodriguez is wearing right now. Unpopular Review at ProWrestlingTees.com.
We starting a GoFundMe for Chris's hairline to find him a
and even while I'm doing all this, he's interrupting the plugs for our show so he can make a joke. And it's so terrible, it's so bad. If the director was still backstage, I would have him mute you real quick. Also, join us tomorrow for our Unpopular Reviews Wrestling Edition, Back to Wrestling NXT AEW Edition with the Mark Victor Rodriguez, as well as the technician David Sanderson and Bad Guy Jack. Also tomorrow, we're going to have the first ever segment of Unpopular Review Promo Battle, where Chrissy is going to go one-on-one with Elvis. That is going to be a great time to see. If you look at our Instagram and Twitter, you'll see they've already begun going at each other. This is going to be good, and that's going to be moderated by none other than Big Daddy Cool, Steven Pena. On Friday, we have Unpopular Reviews Dark Side of the Ring, starring Katrina Storm, as well as Victor Rodriguez, DeMark, where they're going to be talking about Dr. Schultz, and I believe that's at 7 o'clock. Willatine Dream, they wanted to ask you, but you're high and low. Get what I mean? But Victor, they wanted to know if you wanted to be on Friday.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
So he will be in there as well. I have a feeling I'm about to get a video call. Let me make sure this does not happen. No. Boom. All right, cool. So
that's gonna be like at 7, you heard?
On Saturday
I'll be free.
Bet.
All right. Saturday at 12 o'clock, we have Unpopular Reviews SmackDown edition with myself, Big Daddy Cool, Steven Pena, and the Willatine Dream. That's at 12 o'clock. And on Saturday night, as we've already mentioned, Unpopular Reviews Iron Man 2 edition. Iron Man 2 at 7 o'clock on Saturday. I think as of right now, do I work Saturday night? I work at 8. So I won't be on it. It might be earlier than that. So we'll see about that, and we'll let you know. And then, of course, next Wednesday is when we're actually going to have the Avengers episode if you want to follow along with us. So thank you very much for tuning in. Anybody have any last thoughts or final goodbyes?
I will be on the Avengers. I will be on the
Surprise.
Avengers episode. I will be on the Avengers episode.
Okay.
Thanks for having me.
James, do you have anything? Thank you so much for watching us. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and Twitter and YouTube, UPR, and have yourself a good night.
Farewell, my friends. Farewell.
Farewell.